This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Stacy Jensen. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900.
Hello and welcome to News 25. I'm Stacy Jensen. Deanna has the night off. It's Friday, February 4th. A woman who says she started a fire because she was cold is now under arrest and facing a charge of third-degree arson. Brad Francis has more.
Taylor Tenenbaum has been booked into the Nye County Detention Center on one count of third-degree arson. On January 27th, Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies and Pahrump Valley Fire and Rescue were dispatched to a reported arson fire at the intersection of Linda Street and Basin Avenue. On arrival, deputies made contact with a woman who identified herself as Tenenbaum. Deputies asked her what was going on, and they say she told them she started the fire because it was cold and she didn't see what the big deal was. In the arrest report, deputies say Tenenbaum willfully and maliciously set fire to timber, shrubbery, and other flammable material, not her own, that was located on private property and created a fire that required firefighters to put it out. Given Tenenbaum's account of what happened, she was placed under arrest for arson in the third degree and transported to jail.
And local authorities have responded to a home invasion call in Beatty, Nevada, which leads to the arrest of one woman who says she's going to get the person who called the cops. Here's more on that story.
Sarah Hurdle is under arrest and facing one count of harassment and one count of disturbing the peace, both misdemeanors. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies were called to a home in Beatty for a reported home invasion. While en route, they were advised that Hurdle had broken a window to a residence to gain entry and was threatening the occupants while holding a pair of scissors in her hand. Once on scene, deputies learned that Hurdle had a lawful right to be there since her name was on the lease. However, the Sheriff's Office says she committed the offense of harassment when she allegedly threatened to fight the occupants of the home, which included a child. Officers say Hurdle also committed the offense of disturbing the peace when she used scissors to gain entry into the home by going through a window, knocking over a large piece of plywood that was covering the window, while screaming and yelling. A deputy who ultimately made the arrest says in his report that he'd been called to the same address just an hour earlier. At that time, the officer says Hurdle was trying to find a place to sleep for the night, but her roommates didn't want her to stay there. They agreed to work something out and separate for the night. In the arrest report, the officer notes that due to this prior interaction, he felt things would have escalated into something more serious had law enforcement not intervened. The deputy also says Hurdle stated when she got out of jail she was, quote, going to get the reporting party for calling the cops.
And if you live anywhere near the Nevada National Security Site, formerly known as the Nevada Test Site, you may have some interest in what's going on there. Now there's an opportunity to be part of it. There's the Nevada Site Specific Advisory Board. It's made up of local people who help advise the Department of Energy on issues surrounding work at the site. Frank Bonesteel, who chairs the board, says they're looking for new members.
So the advisory board is a group of interested citizens who want to be a part of the process that the Department of Energy has put in place concerning the Nevada, what was used to be known as the Nevada Test Site, and is now known as the Nevada National Security Site. And it's shortened to NNSS. And by the way, nnss.gov is the website where anyone can go to see a lot of interesting information or see how they can join the board should they be interested in doing that. All you need to be is an interested citizen, because the Nevada Test Site, again, is located just north of here. And the surrounding area in Nye County and north of that, even west to California and east to Clark County, individuals who are interested in what the NNSS does can join. Obviously, you need to be an adult, and you would have to submit a resume and a letter of interest and be interviewed by the board. And then once you are approved by the board, then your resume would be forwarded to the Department of Energy in Washington for approval there. But if it's approved there, then you are seated on the board for X number of years. It's not for life, and it's renewed every year. Well, the board is intended to help the Department of Energy administer its program. Obviously, the board doesn't have any veto power on what the Department of Energy does, but the department is very interested in what the citizens consider important to them, so that there are work plan items, and these work plan items are worked on by the board And then the work product, which would be usually a recommendation, is submitted to the Department of Energy, and they use that quite often as a basis for the way they proceed with their own work plans. There is absolutely no experience that's required. Usually the only experience that's necessary is an interest in your community. As I mentioned earlier, the nnss.gov website has a lot of information about what the board does, has done, and plans to do.
And Nevada Governor Steve Sisolak has signed the first ever proclamation declaring the month of February as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. The proclamation is meant to highlight the prevalence and underreporting of teen dating violence. This issue includes various forms of violence, including emotional, physical, psychological, and sexual abuse, as well as stalking, and can happen in person or virtually. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports, they are saying 1 in 10 adolescents have experienced physical abuse and only 1/3 have ever told anyone about it. Research determines that victims of teen dating violence experience serious, immediate, as well as long-term effects that can include depression, anxiety, drug and alcohol, tobacco use, and thoughts of suicide. Long-term effects can also impact their ability to succeed in school, participate in activities, and form other important relationships and bonds with friends and family. To learn more about other red flags, you can visit the Nevada Coalition to End Domestic and Sexual Violence at their website for more information and services and what they can provide. That will be at ncedsv.org. We'll be back with more News 25 right after this break.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment is brought to you by Higher Society Smoke Shop in Las Vegas. Call 702-982-2300. Call 702-982-2300.
And welcome back. The Winter Olympics have kicked off in Beijing, and if you've ever watched the games before, then you know how hard all of those incredible athletes have worked to get there. They spend countless hours training and eating just right. In fact, food plays a bigger role than you might think.
So what this means is generally a diet rich in carbohydrates, which gives them the preferred fuel for their muscles and their brain when they exercise. And they want protein to help repair muscles and sometimes build muscle, and fats, which are important for vitamin absorption and just to feel full after meals.
Dr. David Creel is a psychologist and registered dietitian for a Cleveland clinic. He says we can learn a lot from how Olympians eat. They purposely pick foods that are going to benefit them both physically and mentally, which is something the rest of us can do. So what foods does he recommend? Think lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats like avocados or nuts. He says these athletes are also really good about timing out their meals and snacks to help them reach peak performance. We can do the same by not skipping meals and eating in moderation. And finally, they always make sure to drink enough water and get enough sleep.
Rest is important for both athletes and non-athletes. It really sets the stage for how we eat. They really go hand in hand. So, for instance, if someone doesn't sleep well, they get up late, they skip breakfast, they make poor choices throughout the day, or they may overeat late at night. And when they overeat late at night, they don't sleep well. And this vicious cycle just continues day after day.
When it comes to supplements, Dr. Creel says it's important not to become overly reliant. It's better to eat healthy and have a physically active lifestyle.
And the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation has announced this week that Boulder City, Nevada is set to receive a $75,000 grant to upgrade more than 300 manual and residential commercial meters, water meters. This is for an automatic meter reading system. The grant covers 50% of the total cost of $150,000 for the upgrades. Boulder City Utilities Fund will pay the other 50%. This is the first phase of scheduled replacement with plans to replace all 5,000 meters in Boulder City. And have you ever had a question about your home that you didn't know how to ask, and there's no easy manual for how to take care of your home, especially if you're a first-time owner? Well, in today's Ask Angie, we answer some of those questions that homeowners may have that just don't know what to ask.
Buying and maintaining a home is a lot of work, and we don't expect you to have all the answers. Mallory Misitich, a home care expert at Angie, is here to answer some of the important questions many people are too embarrassed to ask.
One question we get all the time is, how do I know when to hire a pro and when to DIY? As a person who likes to take on my own projects, try new things, and DIY, I completely understand the appeal. And Angie, or when people ask me if it's okay to take on a DIY project, I tell them to ask themselves about the 3 T's: time, tools, and talent. If you have all 3, you can definitely get the job done right. If you're lacking any of those 3 things, like time or a particular tool needed for that job, it's time to call in a pro.
Think about the next home project on your list. Is it complex? Is it dangerous? Is there a risk for property damage? If you answered yes to any of these questions, it's probably a good idea to bring in a pro to do the job right from the beginning. If your project is simple, you have relevant experience, and you're okay with the chance it won't be perfect, then give it a try. Making an expensive mistake can take the fun out of DIY, so do your research and know your risks before deciding to take it on yourself.
When looking for service professionals in your area, you'll probably come across the terms insured, bonded, and licensed. What do these terms mean, and which ones would you look for in a pro? Ideally, you're going to look for all 3. Licenses are often held at a state or a county level. Be sure to check there. Booking an insured contractor is a great way to protect yourself financially. An insured contractor holds liability policy, which can protect homeowners from being held responsible for property damage made by the contractor. Always check with the contractor to make sure their policy covers the scope of your project, and ask for these 3 things before signing a contract and making your final hiring decision.
Bonded contractors have an agreement with a bonding company that protects homeowners if their contractor fails to complete a job or can't meet financial obligations. Some trades also require contractors to get licensed. To qualify for a license, contractors usually have to pass tests and submit proof of insurance and bonding. Make sure to do your own research to make sure your contractor is licensed if desired.
If you're looking at buying a home this next year, you might be wondering if it makes sense to take on the project of a fixer-upper. A fixer-upper can be a great choice if it's in the perfect location or if it's the only option within your budget. However, it is important to understand what projects you'll need to do in the first year and what they might cost before committing. Work closely with your home inspector to really understand the scope of projects. And even before you purchase, make sure you have the time and money to commit to fixing it up. Sometimes fixing up fixer-uppers is a long, multi-year process.
Take a walk around your fixer-upper. Make a list of any changes or repairs you want to make. For each repair, write down if it is structural or cosmetic and if you intend to DIY or hire a professional. This list will help you get organized and get a better understanding of the professionals you will need to hire and the scope of the overall project.
One more really common question is, how do I know if there's mold in my walls? Especially if you live in a warm, humid, or damp environment. The key to detecting mold is to know what mold looks like and smells like. It usually has a musty smell and causes irregular spots. Mold loves to live in damp places, so make sure to check basements, bathrooms, behind walls, closets. If you suspect there's mold in your home but still aren't sure where it's coming from, try ordering a mold test or hiring a professional to find and get rid of it quickly.
Do you have questions about your home projects? Tweet them using hashtag AskingAngie. That's hashtag AskingAngie, and you may get some tips in an upcoming segment.
And we'll catch up with Never Forgotten Animal Society right after this break.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. News 25, local news you can count on.
And Never Forgotten Animal Society here in Pahrump works tirelessly to improve the lives of animals and give them better chance for finding their forever homes. They have an event this weekend that will help them continue their mission. Pat Lemming tells us all about Hearts for Paws.
Today's Save a Pet segment is made possible by Realty Executives in Action. Put the team at Realty Executives in action for you.
On Sunday, February 6th of this year, we're going to be putting on a benefit which is called Hearts for Paws. It's going to be held at the Elks Club. It will be from noon until 3. in the afternoon, and there's going to be live music, dancing, food, just a fun time, a raffle, just a fun time for everybody to come out and say, hey, we support animal welfare here in this town, and we specifically support Never Forgotten Animal Society. And this is one of our events that we can raise the money to pay for our vaccines, our vets, the myriad of costs that are involved in animal welfare. We are running into supply issues right now, so cat litter, dog food, those kinds of things are in short supply. Kitten food, wet kitten food, we've been having trouble getting a hold of. So we're having to reach out to a lot of vendors and ask them for special pricing and special care in order to be able to get these supplies in. Well, in order to be able to do that, and for me to be able to buy in the quantity that I need to get them to cooperate with us, I need the cash. And so that's what this benefit is for. 100% of the proceeds go towards the care of the animals, always will, from any of our events. Tickets are available, they're $15, and you can call us at 775-537-8674, and you're welcome to come on in. There is a limited capacity because of the COVID. We're only allowed so many in the building at one time, so if you're interested, please come out and enjoy yourselves, help support us, and help support these wonderful animals that we have.
Very fun event. Well, when it comes to computers and technologies, our viewers have a lot of questions, and we have just the person to help answer them. It's time once again to check in with Josh Osborne from Great Computer Deals here in Pahrump.
Hi guys, Josh Osborne with Great Computer Deals. It's time for another quick tutorial, viewer question edition. One viewer asks, what's the #1 threat facing normal computer users? That is an easy one, online scams. This is where a hacker pretends to be someone that you like or trust, Microsoft, Amazon, your computer's antivirus software. Typically, they're going to tell you that your computer's security is at risk and they need you to let them remote into your computer. Don't let them do it. You are not the exception. 10 out of 10 times, this is a scam. If you do let them onto your computer, they'll have access to all your email, bank, social media accounts. Remember, these scams can appear on your computer, but also via phone too, so be very wary. If you've already been taken advantage of, come in and see us, we can help you. Why trust a technician when you can trust a friend? Great Computer Deals is located at 1190 East Highway 372. Call us at 775-990-8833.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
Oh, looking beautiful outside. We're going to have to check out and see what John says about the weekend weather. We'll have more on that in just a moment.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios. What a wonderful weather map we have looking right at us. Look at this, 48, 49 degrees for Fernley, Fallon, Carson City. Feeling good. Tonopah, Goldfield, mid-40s, not quite so great, but Beatty at 56, giving us hope for Amargosa. And look at them delivering at 60 degrees. That's our hot spot today in the state. Las Vegas close behind at 57, and Death Valley a scant 68 degrees out in California. But here in the paradise of Pahrump, 51 degrees, feeling great. Low tonight of 29 as those winds whisper to us gently out of the east and northeast to 3 miles per hour. Sunset just gorgeous. Couple minutes ago at 5:14. Stick your head out and enjoy it. And then pray that the sun will indeed come up tomorrow at 6:41. Won't that be great? Have a high tomorrow about 62 degrees. We'll get some clouds in the afternoon. And a low tomorrow night of 34. But as you know, that's not a bad Saturday. How about the rest of the week? Well, it looks like sun shining on me. Oh, beautiful weather. Temperatures ranging in the mid-60s all the way up to 72 Tuesday and Wednesday. And pretty much staying into the 70s for the rest of the week. Sunshine. We'll see a few clouds next Friday, but until then, just beautiful desert weather, and won't we all enjoy it? Yes, we will. Back to the desk. Here's Stacy.
Thank you, John. I'm looking forward to those 70s temperatures for sure. Well, we've got another quick announcement. We've got Gregory Hafen, Assemblyman. He's got a big old taco and legislative update for us. That's right, free tacos. Coming up Monday, February 7th at 5 p.m. Going to be at Romero's Bar and Restaurant. Make sure to check that out. Get the very latest of what's going on in the legislative update. So we like that. So lots of good stuff. Again, thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a fabulous weekend with great weather. Get outside and have some fun. I'm Stacy Jensen. Good night.